At the sound of the last tone, it will be 6 hours, Central European Time.
AFN News, a summary from the wires of the AP and UPI. Here is Jan Wood.
In the news at this hour, the White House says it has no reports that the South Vietnamese are being routed in Laos. Presidential News Secretary Ron Ziegler says, in his words, "Our reports show that the operation is meeting the objective of disruption." Earlier, American pilots returning from flights over Laos said some South Vietnamese units there are retreating. They say that landing zone Brown, deep inside Laos, has been abandoned and is being taken over by the communists. Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir has told her Labor Party leaders meeting in Jerusalem they cannot trust what U.S. Secretary of State William Rogers offers Israel. The remark is the strongest Israeli reaction yet to the Rogers suggestion that future Israeli frontiers be based on international peace guarantees rather than territorial acquisition. The judge hearing the petition of revolutionary Angela Davis for dismissal of murder charges has disqualified himself and postponed the case indefinitely in San Rafael, California. Superior Court Judge John McMurray stepped down on demand of Miss Davis's co-defendant, convict Rushel McGee. Judge McMurray had been assigned from Inyo County after all Marin County judges disqualified themselves. The California Judicial Council now must seek a new judge for the case. McGee and Miss Davis are accused of masterminding a courtroom escape last August in San Rafael, in which Judge Harold Haley and 3 other persons were killed. President Nixon has signed into law a bill that provides a 10% increase in Social Security benefits for 26 million Americans. In signing the measure, Mr. Nixon said, it may be inflationary unless Congress acts promptly to finance it with a new rise in Social Security taxes. The bill raises the net cost of benefits by $500 million in the current fiscal year and by $3.4 billion in fiscal 1972. The measure signed by the president also jumps the national debt limit by a record $35 billion to $430 billion. A Senate subcommittee has completed a new round of hearings into corruption in military clubs and PX facilities. The Justice, Defense, and Treasury Departments will be asked to determine whether former Brigadier General Earl Cole should be prosecuted on charges of perjury and income tax evasion. Acting Subcommittee Chairman Abraham Ribicoff says a transcript of the hearings will be turned over to the 3 federal departments for consideration. A Senate committee has brushed aside President Nixon's objections and voted to recommend a $1.75 billion public works program for the unemployed. The measure is almost identical to the public service job bill President Nixon vetoed last year, except for a few minor details. The measure authorizes money for an estimated 150,000 jobs for unemployed workers. The Commerce Department has issued more bad news for President Nixon's economic policies. The report shows that personal income, wages, salaries, individual business profits, interest, and all other payments to individuals increased only about half as fast as last year's monthly average for February. 1970 was generally regarded as the worst year to the U.S. economy in a decade. Transportation Secretary John Volpe will tell Congress today the present system of automobile insurance is not working well and should be changed. Volpe, in a statement to the Senate Commerce Committee, will ask Congress to pass a resolution urging states to adopt the so-called no-fault system of insurance. Under that principle, accident victims are compensated regardless of who's at fault. The Commission on Population Growth and the American Future has recommended that the U.S. develop an explicit policy on population control. The recommendation is contained in the Commission's interim report to President Nixon, summing up its first year of work. And that completes the summary of news, compiled and edited in the American Forces Network newsroom from the wires of Associated Press and United Press International. Jan Wood, AFN News reporting. The next news on AFN will be in 25 minutes. News headlines at 6:30.